Hello, and welcome to the Dad Lab Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Matt.
And I'm Andrew.
On today's episode, we've got stories in the Newsdesk about butt smuggling gold in India, murder for incest, and trap music for children. In our Mount Rushmore segment, we're going to discuss our favorite fast food chains, and we're back with another Pick Your Poison segment. Finally getting back to some listener feedback that we got in, so we're catching up on that, and then we will share our Cowboys misery with you once again on this episode of the Dad Lab Podcast. And if you haven't done it yet, please rate and review us on iTunes and Apple Podcasts. It would really help us out, and we'd really appreciate it. You can also follow us on social media at thedadlabpod on Instagram and Twitter. Or if you have any questions or concerns about the podcast, you can email us at thedadlabpod@gmail.com. So what's up, man?
Just had a great weekend. I love Halloween weekend. Like, it leads right into my birthday. So we went to my sister's for Halloween on a cul-de-sac. It was good. It was good to be with, my niece and nephew. It wasn't cool with the 7 other kids and parents that tagged along. Like 20 parents and 7 kids. That math didn't work, but you know what I mean? It's just like strangers. And they're like, I thought it was just going to be like more personal, like us going together.
Yeah.
And then there's like a caravan of us just walking up and down these streets. And I just got like instant like buzzkill because, we're both such introverts. And I was like, I wanted it to be more intimate with the family.
Right.
And it's just like strangers, like walking up and down streets together. So I was just hanging back with Claire and my mom. But Elizabeth got a ton of candy. She was adorable. She was like a little fairy princess, I guess. It was a really like last minute put together outfit. She was supposed to be Poppy, and then she was Elsa. And then at the last second, she just wore like tights, a little shirt, and had like some fairy wings.
And she was just like freestyling it?
Yeah, and like a wand, it was like, whatever you want to be, honey. You're adorable. Just you go with it. Like, I'm not buying you another costume, so it was kind of like a made-at-home costume. But that was good. And then Sunday, you came over, we watched the game, we shared in our misery, we ordered a pizza, had some queso. Was going to record then, but I was so tired. I was yawning.
We realized, like, after our stomachs were full and we looked down and it was like 10:30, we're like, oh, yeah, we're 30-plus years old. We don't have another 3 hours in us.
I was tapping out, and I think you saw it, and you kind of called it, like, do you want to postpone a little bit? I was like, I would love to. I was so sleepy after that snooze fest of a game, but and then Tuesday, my actual birthday, we went to Fossil Room, that wildlife sanctuary, whatever. I think they got all those animals, zebras, giraffes, emus, which are fucking wild cards. They're so scary and just crazy.
It's like they could just like take your whole head off.
And my mother-in-law was like teasing one, like, because they give you a little cup of food, and she was going left, right. That thing just snapped at her and bit her hand, and she was like, okay, let's go.
That's what you get.
I got a picture of that exact moment of sheer terror on her face. So got Jersey Mike's on the way there and the way back. So I had Jersey Mike's 3 times in 2 days, which is like, my wife got me a gift card to Jersey Mike's. It's like all I wanted.
It's a good day.
So yeah, I had Jersey Mike's, and my birthday's on National Sandwich Day, and I guess it's also on the election, but more importantly, it was National Sandwich Day. So we just celebrated the right way.
There you go. I had some Jersey Mike's tonight. I was late tonight, and my peace offering was to bring you a sandwich.
Yeah,
so
all good.
You can have some lunch tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm definitely taking that to work tomorrow. Absolutely.
Oh, good, man. Yeah, Halloween, we came a street over from you. So the street, right over from you.
It's a jungle.
Hit 6 houses. We were done. It was perfect. Like, I had Landry and one of Lauren's coworkers and her daughter, because Lauren was working that night. So it was me and her friend Kelsey and her daughter, and then me and Landry, and it was perfect. Like, 6 houses. She was like, hey, it's too crowded. I was like, hey, they're good. They got plenty of candy. We went over to their Pops, and they did their trick or treat there. So they got plenty of candy. We were home by 7:20. Had a pizza ordered by 7:30. It was there by 8 when we were watching a movie and eating pizza.
Yep,
so
that's what I do when I get home.
Yeah, it was a good night. And then, just been, working and hanging out. And I've developed an addiction since the last recording. a few episodes back we talked about sports cards and how I told you I thought I lost them. Well, I ended up finding my old binder of sports cards when I was cleaning out my dad's garage. And it's so funny because it was in an old school notebook. It was like for a math class.
Yeah, that's how you did it back then.
My cards were in the front, and then all my work was in the back. So you see where my priorities were back then. But that kind of just sparked it, and then I started getting on eBay. And I bought a couple cards there. And then Lauren was like, hey, we have a card shop here in town. I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. So I went into our local card shop here, Worth Collecting. If you guys are in the Waxahachie area or even in the DFW area, come down to Waxahachie and go to Worth Collecting. Go see Paul over there. It's him and his dad. They run it. It's family owned. They have a great selection. They've got Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh, everything, football, baseball, basketball, hockey, jerseys, other memorabilia. It's just a great little spot. So yeah, I've been getting back into collecting a little bit, and I've got a problem.
Yep. I told you, I showed you mine that I have, and all recently, and I just ordered more. I got like mystery packs. I don't even know what I'm getting. Claire thinks I'm crazy because I'm like, it's $30, and I don't even know what's going to be in it. Could be all duds.
Yeah.
Could be a rated rookie or graded rookie of Luka or Zion. You never know. But $30, we'll see what happens.
And Paul over there, he was really cool because I kind of told him a story like, hey, I collected when I was younger. Just help, like, what's going on? Like, what's the best way to buy? And he broke it down. Like, he basically told me, like, the market's, like, super crazy right now. Mm-hmm. I guess since COVID, people are at home. He kind of broke down, like, what a hobby box is versus like a retail box that you'd find at like Target or Walmart or something versus like blaster boxes and all this. So I'm kind of learning everything. But I mean, you can buy singles. You can get some good deals on singles. But if you want to buy like the hobby boxes, I mean, especially now, they're going anywhere from like $200 to like $700, $800. And in that, yeah, you're guaranteed to get, some autographs and then, some like. I forget what they're called, like some jersey, like stuff, jersey cards. You just don't know who it is. And then, what a lot of guys do is they get a couple cards within that, and then they sell it, and that kind of offsets the cost.
Yeah, but it's like scratch offs. You win your money back, so you buy another ticket.
Yeah. So, but no,
man, we're such degenerates. Dude, we're comparing all this to gambling.
It really kind of is, because like
yeah, it is, because you don't know what you're gonna get or what it's gonna be worth. I told Claire I just need to look them up. Like I could sell a few of these right now and easily get my money back.
Well, what's cool about this local card shop here is he does on Facebook. He has a Facebook group where he does. It's called 24/7 auction. So on Fridays he'll put up a whole lot of cards, and he calls it a desk clearing sale, and it could be it's all sports, baseball, basketball, football, and it could be he's got everything from rookie cards to like base cards down to like autographs and jersey cards and just all different kinds of stuff. Every
sport.
And then you just in the comments you're bidding on it, and they end Thursday at 8. Well, I went nuts. I didn't think I'd win everything. And my wife doesn't listen, so I won $77 worth of cards. So I had to go today and pick it up, and I had to pay it on a credit card so the wife wouldn't find out. But I ended up getting some pretty cool stuff. But yeah, so
it's an investment. That's how you can explain it to her. It's a long-term investment.
I don't know, and I like it. It's given me something to do, and it's kind of taken me back to my childhood.
Yeah, it's something I've literally been into for over 20 years.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I got out of it obviously, but now I'm kind of getting back into it.
Hook us up. Alex.
See, I want to reach out to him, but I don't want to be that guy. Like, hey, what's up, guy? Like,
I mean, he hooked me up. Like when I won our basketball league 2 times, every time he would send me like a card of each player I had, and it wouldn't be like a basic card. It'd be like, here's a jersey, here's a rookie. It's like, God damn, dude, he hooked it up.
Well, he sent me,
and he knows but he knows if your favorite Cowboys, he'll hook it up on that.
Yeah, because he knows I'm into soccer, so he sent me a while back. He sent me like I don't know what to call it, but it was like a little pack, a little like wooden case, and it had a Leo Messi jersey in there. It had a bunch of autos in there.
I think I was there at your house when he gave that to you.
Yeah, you might have been.
Because I remember it was like a sweet set, and that's when the night he gave me a bunch too.
Yeah.
He just came with all these gifts for cards, and I got prints of like players. Like I got Rick Carlisle's signature.
Yeah.
All these random Mavericks.
He gave me a Tim Howard, like flawless. That was like the name of the set of the series. It was like numbered to 15.
Damn.
He gave me a Tim Howard in like a magnetic case. So, but yeah, I don't want to be that guy and be like, hey, what's up, guy? You send some cards my way, But Alex, if you listen, I'm back into cards.
Yeah. Hey, so, Alex, if you're listening, send some cards my way.
Yeah,
I'll be
our
that
way.
guy.
Our way. No, but it's been cool. So with that, I want to get to some listener feedback because I finally have some. I had some that I forgot about that I needed to catch up on. So our first bit of listener feedback comes from Brady Sapp. It's at Sapnasty on Twitter. And this is in regards to my banana runt discussion debate.
Terrible. It wasn't even a debate.
I took a big L on that one.
One-sided decision.
I took a huge L on that one. But he says, hey guys, just came on here to say that banana runts are absolute trash. I'll eat black licorice dipped in mustard before I eat banana runts. I think that's a little harsh, but hey, we're all entitled to our opinion. Brady, I appreciate you listening and sending in the feedback. Our next bit is from Paul, superfan Paul. He wrote an email. He said, just a general thank you for making the podcast. I've been enjoying the hell out of it. And your reminder to acknowledge the good things you have at the end of episode 9 really put me in a better place. So thank you for that as well.
I appreciate that too.
Yeah, no, we appreciate it. I love getting feedback. And I wrote Paul and we kind of exchanged some emails back and forth. But I didn't really know where I was going with it when I kind of mouth vomited that out at the end of that episode. But that's exactly what I was hoping for. Is like if I could just like help or reach one person with that message, like that's why that was my whole goal. So yeah. I'm glad that he reached out and let me know because that's really what I was going for. Mm-hmm. So thank you, Paul, for that. And our last bit, Superfan Troy, and this was back a month ago, but when we were talking about Claire and her Miracle Whip tacos, which I saved this for last because I've got an update on that. But Troy says, hey guys, all I wanted to say is if you put Miracle Whip on tacos, then you're a monster. Fries with mayo is great and commonplace in Europe. Also, mayo with mashed potatoes on hot dogs is a popular meal in Sweden. Enjoying the podcast, Troy.
I think Troy just wanted to make that comment to brag on us, all the cool places he's been. How it's acceptable in all these European places, and take a dunk on me for living in my small Texas town.
First of all, fries with mayonnaise, you know where I stand on that. Like people who did that are in Al Qaeda now. Like they turned Al Qaeda at some point. And then mayo and mashed potatoes on hot dogs. I'm sorry, dude. Like no.
He sent me a link to that, and it was like the recipe called for like 2 pounds of sausage, and it was like a family meal. You wrapped it up, and it was like the size of like Herschel Walker's thigh, and it was a wrapped up thing, and people were just like eating it, walking around with it. So
what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, it was a European thing, but we're Americans. We're disgusting too. We can't really hate as a society on someone else.
I don't know, man. No.
But you tried the Miracle Whip.
I did. Yes. Sorry. Thank you for bringing me back. I did try the Miracle Whip on the tacos. It's not bad.
It's not that bad.
I see the appeal.
Thank you.
Now, that condiment probably won't make it on the table for taco night, but I see the appeal.
But if you were desperate and you're out of sour cream, fuck it.
Sure.
Take a dollop.
Sure.
What I'll never do is say, I'm so hungry, where are the banana runts? Those words will never come out of my mouth. So I win the argument.
And I can't even come back because you're right. I took a big ass L on that.
Big ass L.
And I'll take it. But in my opinion, banana runts are the best flavor.
And that's your opinion. It's just wrong.
And now and laters. Banana now and laters are good. But apparently I'm a gutter person. I'll take it. So with that, let's move on to the news desk. And let's see. I've got the first story. And the headline reads, airport staff notices man walking strangely, then finds over 2 pounds of gold in his rectum. And this comes from
Can't make that up.
Nope. This comes from Lad Bible. The man was reportedly trying to avoid paying an 18% tax on gold. And it reads, while having a weird walk isn't illegal, and transporting gold from Dubai to India without paying the 18% tax certainly is. Unfortunately, for one airline passenger, the staff noticed his odd walk at Indian's Kannur International Airport on Tuesday and found 2 pounds of gold in his butt. According to Lad Babel, the Indian man had just arrived from Dubai on Go Air Flight G8 4013 with a hefty tax awaiting him in Kannur. It appeared as though he had taken desperate measures to avoid paying his due. According to the New York Post, they discovered 972 grams of flattened pieces of gold worth an estimated total of $60,000 in his rectum. Another passenger on the same flight was caught with nearly twice as much, though it's unclear whether they went through similar methods of concealment. Now, I will post the pictures on our Instagram, and if you see them,
pictures?
There's of the gold that they extracted.
Of the brown gold.
No, they've cleaned it. It's like 3 long, and from the picture, they look to be about a good 8 to 10 inches.
Well, that's why he's walking straight. He's like propped up.
Like, could you imagine sitting with that?
You got perfect posture. You can't even bend.
Like, it's up into your, like...
God, he put 3 of them up there?
3 of them, and then like a smaller one.
He had to practice.
One, and then like a smaller one.
You know he was lubing up and getting ready. Like, he's like, fuck that tax. I'm about to loosen these butt cheeks.
Like, how much money would you have to save to like put that much gold in your ass?
I would have to be paid gold to put gold in my ass. I would have to have...
Like, wouldn't you just take the tax? Like,
I'm really thinking of a dollar amount. Like, how much would I stick that up my ass
So
for?
what is it, 18% on 60 grand? So 10% is like 6 grand. So what?
Close to double it?
Yeah, so it's like 12 grand, or, a little less.
I mean, that's a decent used car. I think I might do it for that amount.
You're sticking it up your butt?
But you could buy a boat for that amount, man.
That's like
I'd stick gold in my butt for a boat.
You just stick it right in the prison purse, huh?
Yeah. For a pontoon boat, if I knew as soon as I walk through, I can release these cheeks and a pontoon boat's waiting for me, I'll do it.
I don't know.
I'll give it a shot. Depending on, but what's the flip side? What's the jail time looking like? Like, is it like a humiliating story and a fine, or am I going to face like hard time because my butt is loosey goosey going into jail?
Well, it doesn't say anything about what he's going to get as far as time.
He should just be let free. Like, dude, that was a lot of work and a lot of effort. Pay the tax and go on your way.
So the story continues. Only a few months ago, customs official in Kerala seized 66 pounds of gold worth a staggering $1.9 million hidden in cylindrical locks. Authorities realized how sophisticated and expansive this type of smuggling had become and launched a major investigation. So yeah, India has got a huge problem with people putting gold in their butt. So that brings us to our next one, which is, God, it's so interesting.
Was that me?
That's on.
Is
yeah,
mine
that's
interesting?
yours. Yep.
Mine is a West Virginia woman just pleaded guilty to killing her boyfriend so she could marry her father. A bizarre murder that took place in West Virginia in February 2019 has come to a conclusion, at least for now. According to local news outlets, the Bluefield Daily Telegram, Amanda Michelle Naylor McClure, which immediately red flags 4 names, that's way too many, pled guilty to second-degree murder for killing her boyfriend, 38-year-old John Thomas McGuire, with the help of her father and sister. McGuire's remains, which had been dug up, dismembered, and reburied by the culprits, were uncovered months later in a grave at a Skyguski residence in McDowell County, where the family has been staying. McClure's sentencing took place in a virtual hearing via Skype, which was presided by Judge Ed Cornish. During the emotional hearing, McClure pleaded for the court and McGuire's family to forgive her. She also painted herself as a victim of her biological father's abuse. I've hurt my own family. McClure is the biological daughter of Larry McClure, 55, who she later married when they murdered her boyfriend together. She was raised by adoptive parents, Alan and Gwen Holm, who were also present during the virtual sentencing. According to court records, Larry developed an incestual relationship with his daughter, McClure. He had been estranged with McClure and her sister Anna, who were all living in separate states. McClure was living together with McGuire in Indiana at the time. Then Larry decided to drive down to pick up his daughters at their home. When he came to pick up McClure, according to court records, both of the daughters and the victim McGuire were dope sick. The group traveled back to Skyguski, where Larry was staying after his release from prison on sex offense charges. Classy.
Jesus.
After 10 days, the family hatched a plan to kill McGuire. McClure testified that the victim was killed because he was with me, and my dad didn't want anyone else near me. During their own sentencing hearing, Larry testified that McGuire had bought a bottle of wine for Valentine's Day, possibly meant to be shared with McClure. McGuire was then struck in the head with the wine bottle, tied up, and injected with liquid methamphetamine, done by Larry and his daughters. The victim was then tortured for 2 or 3 days of hell, Larry admitted. By Saturday, the family of killers had buried McGuire's body in a 2-foot grave behind the house. They dug up his remains after 6 days, dismembered his body, and reburied him. Then, 3 weeks later, Larry and McClure traveled to neighboring Tazewell County in Virginia and got married. I don't think you're taking full responsibility for killing John McGuire. You're blaming it on your father, Judge Cornish said in response to McClure's claims that she was under the influence of her father. McClure was sentenced to 40 years in prison in October of 2020. Larry was sentenced to life without mercy for his crime earlier in August. Meanwhile, McClure's 32-year-old sister, Anna Marie, is also facing first-degree murder charges in connection with McGuire's death. You can't unring the bell. Karen Smith is not going to get her son back, the judge said before his final words to McClure. The time you will serve is not adequate amount of time for the pain you have caused. And then I just wrote, if R. Kelly has taught us anything, it's that age ain't nothing but a number. And if the South has taught me anything, it's that blood is thicker than water. And then question, what's life without mercy? Does that just mean like he's going to be like in the...
I don't know.
His permanent residence is in like the showers?
I mean, that had everything. That had meth, incest, torture, murder.
Is that everything you look for in a good
yeah,
story?
that checks all the marks. Yeah. I mean, I don't see what the problem is. She just wanted a daddy husband.
You don't see any problem with that?
No. If it makes you happy, you know what? In these times, just go for it, sister.
I can't believe you're siding with the incestual murderer.
I'm obviously joking.
I think you're just backpedaling now. Like, I'm just joking, guys.
I don't want to trip backpedaling too fast. No, that
that checked all the boxes. It did. That was just reading the headline.
So they dug a 2-foot grave and they're like, you know what? I don't think that's gonna work. Let's re-dig them up
and dismember them
and cut them up,
and then we'll rebury them.
Jesus. All right.
That's incestual murderers for you.
So my last little story, it's not really a story, but it's I don't know, maybe a PSA or a little did you know? But did you know that there's trap music for children now?
I knew that because you told me.
Yeah, well,
before we recorded, but before then I had
you didn't have to say it like that. You didn't have to
do
me like that.
You informed me. I had no idea.
Okay, so there is trap music for children. So Lauren tagged me in this the other night. She's like, hey, you should talk about this on the podcast, which was cool because she never does anything like that because she doesn't really care about my endeavors.
Hey, my wife either.
But I was like, I clicked on it, and it's actually pretty cool. The guy's name is Blake Rules, and he does trap music for kids. His album artwork says wholesome rap music for kids. So if you're a fan of rap music or hip hop and you've got kids and you're afraid to listen to it because of the content and the language and all that, I've found your solution. So he's got 14 albums of kid. It says, and I'm pulling from Kids Trap 7. And
that's your favorites, Kids Trap 7?
So far, it's got some bangers on there. So just a few song titles: the birthday party song, the seatbelt song, I love kittens, tie your shoes. So it's all like good stuff, like wholesome, like just like he says, wholesome stuff that your kids, would need to know. So I'm gonna play just a couple snippets from it, and y'all give us some feedback and tell. Will you be bumping Kids Trap 7 with your kids?
You know what it is. Confetti, I'm ready. We got some snacks on your mama's spaghetti. When I'm walking in, it's raining confetti. It's my birthday and I'm ready to party. I'm ready to party. It's my birthday party. It's my birthday party. confetti, confetti, I'm ready, I'm ready. We got some stacks on your mama's spaghetti. When I walk in, then it's raining confetti. It's my birthday and I'm ready to party.
So that's the birthday song.
That's actually pretty good.
It's pretty good. And then
I'd roll down the windows in my caravan for that.
There you go. And then this one is Tie Your Shoes.
Blake rules, not their friends. Kids trap, you know what it is, man. I like those shoes. You know it'd be a lot cooler if you tied those laces. Lace them up, 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 lace them up. See, I was going for a walk, just a little cruise, little walk around the neighborhood.
So yeah, so that's Kids Trap. Kids Trap 7.
It's actually pretty good, yeah.
It's not bad, and he's got one about dinosaurs. He's got one that says titled "I Love My Mom." I'm a
Dad's
good listener.
my hero.
I haven't looked through all 17, but I haven't seen much about Dad. But no, it was pretty cool. It's safe rap, and it doesn't sound half bad, and you can listen to it in front of the kids.
He's probably got that whole market cornered.
Yeah, and then
if he's the only one doing it right now,
he does have an actual another like pseudonym or whatever you want to say, where he does actual,
darker side.
Yeah, where he does like adult trap music. But no, I thought it was pretty cool. So if you dads out there want some safe rap or trap music to listen to, there you go. I found that. And with that, that'll take us to our Mount Rushmore segment. And like I mentioned in the intro, we are going to be going over our favorite fast food restaurants, our favorite fast food chains, I should say. And full disclosure, I excluded all sandwich shops because we're going to do one separate on that. And to me, that's a separate kind of genre.
I included one sandwich shop.
That's fine.
It'll make both lists.
That's fine. So do you want me to go? You want me to go and you go?
Yeah, we can rotate.
I'll go first. The first one's an easy one for me. Whataburger.
Yep.
It's always been there for you. Drunk at 2 a.m. or, whenever you need it, it's there. Classics like taquitos. You can't go wrong with the double cheeseburger. You got the A1 thick and hearty. You got the chicken
all those
strip.
all-time favorites.
Yeah, the barbecue chicken strip sandwich or whatever, honey barbecue, or the honey butter chicken biscuit.
Yeah, it's fucking good.
But it's a Texas staple. I know they got bought out by a Chicago firm, but it had to make my list.
Yeah, Whataburger is also number one on my list. I was going to say, lots of times these aren't ranked, but if I rank this, Whataburger would be number one. And with mine, I just kind of put, as a side note, is what I usually get there. So I usually get the number 2. I add mustard and mayo, cheese, bacon, jalapenos. I'm bougie. I'll get all that on there. It's
that's good so
burger. And then with breakfast, I go with the bacon, egg, and cheese, potato, taquito. That's why you're saying either time of the day or night, they got you covered.
They got
so
you.
I have favorites on whether the sun's up or down. I know I'm covered.
And I really hope they bring back. They just took away. I don't know if you had it, but the breakfast burger.
They took it away. That was solid.
Yeah, they had the cheeseburger patty, the bacon, hash browns, and the fried egg, and with the creamy pepper sauce.
Creamy pepper, yeah.
Yeah, I went a couple weeks ago, and they were like, we don't carry it anymore. So
what they
that's
need
a
to
huge
take
bummer.
away is that Pico de Gallo burger, because that was pretty.
Yeah, they
not
missed on
good.
that one.
That was the only thing I've had in a long time from Whataburger where I was disappointed.
They have the new spicy chicken sandwich out now.
We tried that.
Is it good?
It was good.
I want to try it.
Well, I split it with Claire, so she likes it dry. I probably would have gotten everything on it, so we just had like cheese but it was a very good spicy chicken sandwich. Like
good.
they should make that a staple.
Cool. My next one, and I have a love-hate relationship with it, but it's Chick-fil-A.
You hate that they're closed on Sundays?
That, and there for a while, Landry wore it out, so it kind of lost a lot with me. But again, it's got everything you want, and I just kind of discovered their breakfast because here for the last
their breakfast is solid,
dude. It's
really good,
so good.
Yeah.
I've been taking Landry to school on a regular basis here the last couple of months just because of the way mine and Lauren's schedules have been working. And so I'll just swing through. And I got their chicken burrito the other day. Their biscuits are good, chicken biscuits or sausage biscuits. Their chicken minis are good. It's all good.
They have a good soup too.
Is it the chicken tortilla?
and they had like a chicken noodle, and I want to say like a broccoli and cheese. I don't know. I've split it with a few with Claire before, and their soup's actually.
And
really
then
good,
even like their lunch and dinner side, like their salads are really good. They're really fresh. Yeah, of course, you've got the chicken sandwich. You've got the spicy chicken sandwich. The nugs are good. Yeah. The strips are good. Even if you're like trying to, I ate there a lot when I was on a diet because you can eat relatively healthy there.
Mm-hmm.
You can get the grilled nuggets. They got the fruit cups or like the super, like the kale, like the superfood as the side. So Chick-fil-A is just all around, just a safe bet. The sweet tea's good.
And
the lemonade,
fries.
the waffle fries.
Underrated
are good.
waffle fries.
Now,
and they got all the dipping sauces too. I like my variety of dipping sauce. I'll get like one of everything.
I'm a Polynesian guy. If I get nuggets, I like Polynesian.
I love Polynesian. Polynesian Chick-fil-A sauce are like my go-to there.
Yeah, can't go wrong. What was your number 2?
Number 2, Jersey Mike's. Which it'll be on the list later, but so like I said, I had it a few times this week. I usually get the Italian sub, Mike's Way, so it's all the veggies and all the oils. I've tried their Big Kahuna, which was like their cheesesteak with like extra onions and extra mushrooms and all that. It was decent. It wasn't my favorite, and I added the 3 because the third one I usually get is their tuna. Really like their tuna as well. So Big Kahuna was good just to try it once. The meat was really fresh because, as soon as you order it, they start making it. He threw it on the grill right then and started slicing it all up. So I actually had to wait just a minute for it, but can't go wrong with their Italian sub. Can't go wrong with tuna. And I've just been craving tuna so much lately. It's weird. It's like I'm pregnant. Like, for some reason, tuna just sounded amazing. And I don't want to go to Subway. I was like, if I'm going to get a sandwich, I'd rather drive 10 miles out of my way to go to Jersey Mike's, and luckily we went that direction 2 days in a row, and I got Jersey Mike's both times on the way out.
So Lauren, she brought home a Subway sub, and dude, that thing was so pathetic.
Yeah, once you
it had 5 or like 4 little. I mean, y'all can't see my finger, but just the meat,
thin.
The meat on it was like stacked that high. I'm like, what are you eating? It's all bread and veggie.
Yeah, once you go Jersey Mike's, you don't go back. I can still get down on I don't want to go too far into our list because we'll do a sandwich list later, but Subway most likely won't make my list.
Subway.
Only if I run out of options would I go to Subway.
And I might not even get a sandwich. I may get like a bowl or something.
Yeah.
Or a salad. My third is Chipotle.
Damn, that's my third.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Chipotle, it's solid. I get the burrito bowls. And I just customize it however I want.
I used to get the burrito, and then you realize it falls apart, and you eat it with the fork.
Anyway.
Just get the fucking bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get the burrito bowl. It's all fresh. They do a good job of cooking it throughout the day. Everything's fresh. It's a little pricey. Chips are still 60% of the time. But it's good. It's fresh. Again, if you're on a diet, you can eat somewhat healthy there.
Yeah.
I like it. So Chipotle was yours?
Chipotle was mine. I was going to say, I remember when we got that, I was so excited to get it here in town because before I think you'd have to drive to like
Cedar Hill
to get it. Yeah, that's when I first started getting it. I was just blown away. Thought it was the best, but I get brown beans, brown rice. I like the barbacoa. That's the meat I get. I get the pico, salsa, corn, sour cream, and cheese. I got the guac once. Terrible fucking mistakes. The saltiest thing I've ever had in my life. It ruined the whole bowl. So I don't know if I just had a bad batch.
That's on them. Yeah,
because I remember it was a situation where I had just I bought like groceries for the family, like all of it. And I spent like $100, and then Claire's like, "Well, I'll buy his lunch." She's like, "Yeah, you will." And I'm getting fucking guacamole on my bowl.
I know it's extra.
Yeah, I know it's $2 more, but I'm getting it. It was so fucking salty I couldn't even finish it, but. That was like a one-time thing, They just overcharge for shit like that. For queso, they give you like a scoop for like $3.
It's tiny.
So just get the free toppings.
Well, it's a blessing and a curse that they kind of do their seasoning and cooking there on site because me and Lauren, we weren't like terribly hungry. We were like, hey, let's just split a bowl, and that was like perfect for when we were eating and how hungry we were. And we got a chicken bowl like a couple weeks before when we went there, and so we got our bowl with chicken in it this time. And I guess they seasoned it with something like too spicy, and it lit both of us on fire.
Wow.
Like it was just like we were doing all we could do just to get through the bowl. And then like 2:00 in the morning, I'm waking up like breathing fire, like just eating Tums. But Usually Chipotle's pretty solid.
Yeah, because it's consistent. Those were like 2 anomalies we got.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, I'll obviously go back, and it obviously still made my list. I'm not blaming them. It was just
right.
one bad experience.
Do you want to do your 4th, and then I'll do mine?
My 4th, and I'm not totally proud of it, but it's consistently, I think, where we go the most, and it's Sonic. Because, like, Claire just loves, like, the fountain Dr. Pepper drinks.
So do I, yeah.
And to her, and I get it, cups are very important. You know, you don't want the cups that what's it called, that drip on your...
That condensate.
Yeah,
the plastic
like
ones.
The plastic ones that just drip all over you.
You want a good foam one.
Yeah, like, it makes sense. So she's happy hour, or I think it's like 2 to 4, or like before 11.
Yep.
She'll get a drink all the time. Breakfast all day, I like the sausage croissant. It fucking slaps.
If I go breakfast at Sonic, I go French toast sticks.
I had those for the first time.
Good,
My
man.
God, I got them for Claire, and I was like, "This is the most American thing."
Especially if you can get them and you can eat them before you leave, and they're hot, and the syrup is hot.
Yeah, we seriously got that for the first time this past week.
It's really good. But no, I love Sonic. It didn't make my list.
It's not like one of my favorites. But yeah, it's consistently like if you need a snack, go get a fucking corn dog and a Sprite,
cheese tots.
Yeah,
and then the
cheddar peppers.
Coney.
Like what I'm saying, like it's not a glamorous pick, but when I was thinking about it, I was like, I probably go there more than any other place because I get limeades, I get Sprite with grape, I mix it up, you know.
They got great slushes.
Yeah, and like during summer, it's like half
Ocean
off,
waters,
half off of what am I trying to think of? Like shakes.
Yeah.
After a certain point, so realistically, like I think we go there more often, so it'd be hard not to. And they have decent burgers too.
Dude, when I go, my meal is number 2, which is a double with cheese, mayo, no tomato, with cheese tots on the side, and then a Route 44 Dr. Pepper.
Is it? Very American.
It's very good.
Yep.
It's no frills. It's just, and it's kind of similar to the one I get in my honorable mention. But my 4th is Cane's. Raising Cane's.
That'd be my chicken spot. I love Cane's too.
The sauce.
Ellie's obsessed with the sauce. Let me just say that. So that's why we go there so much.
Yeah, it's really good. When I first found that place, I was living up in Denton, probably a decade ago. And I was super bummed that they didn't have ranch. And I'm like, what am I going to do with these chicken tenders,
or
man?
Gravy.
Or gravy.
That's why my dad hates it. He's like, what kind of chicken place doesn't come with gravy?
And then they bring it to me and it's got the sauce. I'm like, what the hell is this? And I one taste and it was like, I was hooked.
Yep.
So now, like, I'll save a tender. Like, I'll get the box combo, which I think is like 6. So I'll take a tender, put it on the bread, put some sauce on the bread, and then eat like a little tendy sandwich with the bread.
That bread's good.
And then I have 5 more tenders, to munch on. The fries are good. The only complaint, you got to eat it there because if you get it to go or if you have it delivered, like DoorDash or whatever, the fries get way soggy.
Yeah.
So because they don't vent the box, so you've got to eat the fries there.
Eat them on the way home.
Or eat them on the way home. Same with the bread. The bread won't keep that little crispy kind of top to it. So
throw it in the air fryer for like 3 minutes.
Cane's is, and the sweet tea is amazing. And there's no frills to it. I mean, they do chicken fingers, and that's all they do, and they do it well.
Yeah, their sandwich is literally just 2 or 3 chicken tenders
on a bun.
On a bun, yeah. They don't even have like a patty. It's
it's on a bun.
Yeah, you're right. Everything's tenders,
and they've got a good lemonade, and they know what they do, and they do it well, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, for real, it's like sticking to what you know.
Yeah. You got any honorable mentions?
My first one was Cane's.
Cane's.
I get the Maniac. I think that's like the 3 or 4 piece.
Yeah.
When I fuck the coleslaw, extra fries. I'm not a slaw man.
I'll either go. It just depends. I'll either go extra fry. No, always no slaw, but I'll either go extra fries or I'll get an extra piece of toast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm usually the same way, but it's usually fries.
And then I'll buy
so I can
2 to 3 extra sauces because I'll just mow through it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, Cane's is clutch.
Because I only had 2, so my other one's Taco Casa. Right here.
That's on mine.
Dude, they load up their tacos. It's like 90% beef and
how many pounds of cheese do you think that restaurant, that just this location goes through in a year? 10,000?
Yeah, I would say tons.
10,000 pounds?
Yeah.
It's like, I appreciate it because, and I was thinking about this because I was like, I need a little Mexican, I need a Mexican spot. I used to love Bueno, but Bueno has gone down. Dude, I went there a couple weeks ago, and they had the thinnest little strip of beef at the bottom.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
And
You'll never have that problem at Taco Casa.
No.
Because I was the same way. I loved Bueno when I worked in Lancaster. That's all we went to on break is like always getting
Because you had that one right there on Pleasant Run.
Yep.
You just go right
and
there.
they had like the bar where you could get like the
salsa bar.
Salsa bar. So I love that. But Taco Casa just loads up, and like I get the taco salad for some reason. Like my dad makes fun of me. I feel like that's like a sissy thing to do because it has the word salad. I was like, it's giant. It's a giant fried taco with everything on it.
And you just
I just mix it up like there's.
and you can eat the bowl.
Yeah, you just make fun of me because it has the word salad in it. It's like this is the most unhealthy salad I could possibly eat. It's delicious. So Taco Casa is my second one, and it easily could have made the Mount Rushmore, but.
So I've got some wild cards here. I'll just start off with this one, McDonald's, just because it's a childhood thing.
Yeah, I say you go back a long ways.
It's always been there for you.
I like McDonald's, but I never go there.
You can get out for cheap. A couple McChickens, small, medium fry, and a large drink. You can get out for like $5. So
yeah, if you go dollar menu, you can
dollar menu, and then you got classics like the Big Mac. You got filet of fish. It's just, and the fries are the best in the game. Like
yeah, they do have good salty fries.
The key is going. When did I do this? A couple weeks back, me and Landry were leaving speech, and he gets out of speech at like 10:30. So it's like right when they're transitioning over from breakfast, and I got some fries, and dude, I'm like, this is why they're number one. They were just so good.
And the breakfast McGriddle. I remember when they came out
McGriddle,
with that just probably added like 5 pounds to me, easy.
The McGriddle is genius. Let's see. My next one is, and you can't get them in Texas. I have to get it when I'm out of town where they have them, but White Castle. White Castle is amazing. They've got these tiny little, great little burgers with the onions cooked in them. They've got chicken rings. It's just, I don't know. It's good. You can't get them here in Texas. When we went to Vegas a couple years ago, that was the last time I had White Castle, but it's delicious. And then probably the most obscure one is Burger Street. Now, I know you told me that you never even heard of Burger Street.
Nope.
But again, it's like it's kind of like Whataburger and Sonic. It's like no frills, like nothing fancy, but it's just a good kind of old-fashioned burger. And they've got curly fries there. And I love a good curly fry.
Yeah.
I went and got Arby's for my dad the other day, and I don't really do Arby's. Something about roast beef.
Found out Hope Solo.
Fast food, roast beef, Hope Solo, Aubrey Plaza. I just, no, but their curly fries are legit.
Good, yeah.
So I got me some curly fries.
Absolutely.
But no, Burger Street, there's one in Arlington. Off Cooper and 20. Right there, kind of like across the highway from the mall. So maybe we'll have to take like a show trip out there and preview it. Or, you could review it. But no, Burger Street's really good. Anything else? You got anything else you want to mention?
Nope.
Okay. So let's get into our Pick Your Poison segment. And this week's Pick Your Poison is, would you rather have all dogs try to attack you when they see you, or all birds try to attack you when they see you? I'm gonna let you.
Mine was pretty easy. I'd rather be attacked by the dogs, and I would reason it with, well, they're like at ground level. I mean, I could carry like a bat or some dog spray. I mean, I'm already interfered with dogs on a daily basis sometimes, but birds would outnumber you like 10,000 to 1, and they'd have the high ground.
Well, have you ever seen
Birds?
Yeah,
movie?
it's terrifying. But have you ever seen like a classic like Andre Agassi serve where he's hitting like 140? I would hit some bitches out of the air and just spike them with a racket.
Your arm would be so tired after like all the kamikaze birds coming at you.
Your arms wouldn't be tired beating off it. Hold up, pause. Hold up. Fending off a dog with the bat.
Fending off. Yeah, I'd have a taser in one hand and dog spray in the other.
Look, you're screwed either way because there's some big ass dogs. And like you got to think about hawks coming down with like their talons.
Exactly.
I don't
condors,
know.
like 6 foot wingspan, picking my ass up. The birds would be on my side, and they'd take all the little shithead dogs like mine away. And then I just have to fend against the big ones.
I'm going to go birds because I just feel
You're
like
fighting off the birds.
I'm fighting off birds.
Oh, man. See, I think they got kamikaze bombers.
Because I love dogs. I don't want to. I don't have to worry about dogs.
I do too, but if Cujo's coming at me, you don't think I'm going to take a bat to him?
Well, yeah. Fair enough. I'm taking birds because I just don't want to have to worry about dogs. Like, I'm not that fast. I'm fat. Like, I can't run away. I don't know. It just seems like birds. I think birds would be easier.
I think you're picturing like crows and not like eagles, hawks, condors, vultures all coming
Well,
at
and
you.
I think you're picturing Hank and not like Cujo.
I am, because
You've got something living across the street from you that sounds like it.
those guys train like attack dogs, so they're yelling German orders out all day.
Well, I was leaving the
terrifying.
house on Sunday, or either coming
Sunday.
or going, and this thing didn't sound like a normal dog. It sounded like something from hell.
It was a hellhound.
Dude, it was deep, and it didn't sound like a normal like big dog bark.
Welcome to the
So you
neighborhood,
have
man.
something. So that's like number one on your list. If they start attacking, whatever that is over there, it was like the dog from Sandlot mixed with I don't know what.
Cujo.
Yeah, it sounded terrifying. So that's number one. I'll take the crows and the sparrows.
I'll take them from the sky, or I'll fight the dogs off. You fight the birds off. We'll go back to back.
Okay, yeah, we'll have each other's back.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, gotcha. All right. So you guys let us know. Let us know what your Mount Rushmore fast food chains are, if you would, please. We'll read them off next episode. And let us know, would you want to fight off dogs for the rest of your life or fight off some birds? And let us know on Twitter, write us an email, and we'll read it out next episode. But that's going to take us to our Scream 2 movie watch and review. So if you remember, before the Halloween episode, in episode 8, we reviewed the original Scream, and then we took a break and did a special Halloween episode where we reviewed Ernest Scared Stupid. So we decided to pick back up on the Scream franchise with Scream 2. Don't know if we're going to do Scream 3 next week. I think we're going to go something for The Rock, or something for Sean Connery.
Yeah. I'd
Rest
like to
in
watch
peace.
The Rock.
I think we decided on The Rock, so this may be our last Scream review. But what did you think about the movie?
It was a really good sequel. I remember the opening scene. I remember when I first saw Timothy Oliphant's character.
Mhm.
That rang a bell. I was like, yeah, that crazy son of a bitch.
Yeah, and this had another. It wasn't as star-studded as last time, but you had Omar Epps. You had Jada Pinkett. It wasn't Jada Pinkett Smith yet. Timothy Oliphant. Aunt Jackie. I forget her name from Roseanne. I forget her name.
She's done a lot. Yeah, I can't think of her name, but it also had Portia de Rossi.
Portia de Rossi.
And,
It had Sarah Michelle Gellar.
What was her name? I wrote it down. Rebecca Gayheart. You remember
Rebecca
her?
Gayheart,
Remember what
yep.
happened to her, though?
Mm-mm.
She killed a kid. She was like a rising star, man. She was going to be like big time because she was in that show Dead Like Me, which me and my mom loved. And in 2001, she hit a little boy, like a 9-year-old boy on the road.
No shit.
While distracted on her cell phone, killed him. But, of course, she only got like community service and house arrest, but it basically it killed. I don't mean to use that joke, but it ended her acting career after that, like tainted her.
Well, if that's all she got, then
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She got off easy, but she was going to be like, a big star, and then fucking
yeah,
ran
Rebecca
over this
Gayheart.
poor
Yeah, I
kid.
remember that name now. But yeah, and then it had Timothy Oliphant, Jamie Kennedy again,
Jamie Kennedy.
had
that was
Jerry
an
O'Fucking
awful
Connell. Like
Yeah.
he was a '90s like
He's like a brunette Ken doll.
yeah, he's like a '90s like heartthrob. Like he was
man.
so popular in the '90s.
Still is. You kidding me?
Are you kidding me?
That final scene? What?
But yeah, no, it was really good.
But when I was watching that opening scene, do you remember the spoofs they made, like Scary Movie?
Yeah,
Do you remember that scene where he it's like the Omar Epps scene where he puts his
Yeah.
ear to the door and it's a glory hole?
Yeah.
Dick pokes him in the face. Like that's all I could
Maybe-
remember was like a dick coming out.
maybe instead of Scream 3, because like during the first Scream and the second one, I was like, man, that is what made Scary Movies so funny.
It was very relevant because it was
yeah.
because everyone remembers the first two Screams and they just basically just ripped it apart and parried it so well.
So maybe we should do a Scary Movie review at some point. I don't know if that falls into our rules that we set out for ourselves.
I'm pretty sure it came out in the 90s.
But
And
yeah,
that's just another franchise that kind of fell off, so you'd only watch a few. And I remember like in that same movie, not to always talk about the parody of Made of It, but she's like in the movie theater and talking out loud and
yeah. Oh no, girl!
I'm
yeah.
watching Shakespeare in Love.
I remember, in Scream 1, the opening scene where Drew Barrymore gets stabbed in like the chest. In Scary Movie,
Oh,
like
it's
he
a
pulls back like an
silicone titty.
implant.
Yep.
But no, so the opening scene was good. They're
That
at
was a rowdy fucking theater.
yeah, like
Jesus.
so they're at the preview of the movie called Stab, which is based off Sidney Prescott's
The Woodsboro murders.
the Woodsboro murders from Scream 1. I wrote down maybe it's a bad idea to hand out costumes at a theater. I said obviously this is pre-Aurora because they've handed out costumes of Ghostface, and so everybody's. I mean, I wrote down the theaters pandemonium.
Yeah, is rowdy.
And then I asked you. I said, have you ever experienced or remembered a movie or a theater that was this lit?
Yeah, Stomp the Yard.
Really?
Yeah, when I worked at theater, anything like that, Stomp the Yard. We had to that movie. It broke the Lancaster record for box office scores on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. People, I mean, it was a good crowd, but people were getting so fucking hyped up afterwards. We literally had to ship the movie out and only had it for 1 week because the crowds were too rowdy when they'd get out. They'd be
they'd just be
dancing,
stomping the yard,
going out in the parking lot. Really, a big fucking block party turned out. And so our general manager's yeah, we're gonna have to send that movie out, even though it sold out every showing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And on Monday we got rid of it because it was so fucking rowdy.
Okay, yeah, because I wrote that down because
Big Mama's House, Tyler Perry. I mean, those were when I worked there. That's what would shut the theater down, and we would have to make lines and have extra security because people would just come out and see this movie and have a good fucking time and get rowdy.
I think we need to birth a new segment. It's Tales from the Theater or something.
Tales from the Theater.
You need to because I know you had seen some crazy shit.
Oh yeah, I worked
your
there
time
for
there.
4 years.
So you need to come up with a little snippet or story every week or something about something crazy you encountered or something you had to clean up or something. Because I know you've got some stories.
Yeah.
But we'll workshop that. But that's why I wrote that down because I knew you worked there, so I knew you. I was wondering if you'd ever experienced anything like that.
Well, not a double murder.
Well, of course not.
Like that.
But a theater or a movie just causing that much kind of
chaos.
Hype.
Yeah. I put on here that I hate to be an usher at that theater because that's the first job they give you when you're hired at the movie theaters, an usher. So people don't give a shit about that job, just cleaning it up. Yeah, this fucking rowdy movie, and then everyone was so into the movie they didn't notice that she was really dying. They thought she was part of it until she lets out this death scream and collapses.
Yeah, so it was kind of cool how all that went down. Like you said, Omar Epps, he went up to get popcorn or something or go to the bathroom. The killer gets him in the bathroom, stabs him through the ear.
In the ear,
yeah, through the ear. And then he replaces Omar Epps in the theater or in the seat with his girlfriend, with Jada Pinkett, and he stabs her. She goes up in front of the screen and dies. And I was and I wrote down, what a weird way to die. So
it's very Julius Caesar.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I got those vibes for sure. And then we get the opening credits, and then we get our first Nev Campbell sighting in her college dorm. And I wrote down, I'm not digging the new short hair. I just wasn't digging it. I thought I like her better.
It made her look more mature.
Yeah,
I think that's
why they were doing it.
So I can respect that.
And she gets a call. She's getting a lot of calls because it's opening weekend of the movie. I wrote down, I'm glad to see she invested in some caller ID. And then that's where she gets news of the killings in the theater, and it's all kind of starting. And Courtney Cox shows up, and I said she's still got her fastball with movement.
She was looking at her absolute best. Dude, because after I watched Scream 2, a few days later, I watched Scream 3, and then 4, I just binged them. And she was in all of them, and Scream 3, you'd have to look her up. She had the worst haircut, the most simple jack haircut a woman could ever get. And I don't know how she decided to make this movie, the whole movie, with that haircut, unless it was just written into it. But in Scream 2, yeah, she's looking good. Really fine. P. Courtney Cox. Probably it might have been Arquette at that time. I don't know.
It was in the process. David. It was in the process of
Dewey.
Adding the Arquette. And then I wrote down it's fucking Dewey. Dewey shows up because he hears of the murders. So he's got nerve damage. He's scarred up like an old rodeo.
Yeah, he's limping, and his right hand's almost permanently stuck.
Yeah. Then Sydney again gets ambushed by Gail and Cotton Weary.
That's a sweet name. I love that.
Liev Schreiber, that was another one I didn't.
Oh yeah,
I didn't mention. He's in this one too. He has a more prominent role.
Yeah, he's been exonerated.
Yeah,
jeez, poor guy.
And then Gail gets owned again. And then Dewey confronts Gail about how she portrayed him in her book. She did him wrong in that book. Kind of making him more of an Officer Doofy character from Scary Movie than what it was.
She definitely portrayed him as Deputy Dewey.
So we go to a frat party after that, and is there Dave Matthews Band playing?
Hell yeah. I was with Claire, and she was
Shibba-da-bang
like looking
bang.
down, and she looked up. She's like, is that some DMB I hear?
Yeah.
She's a huge Dave Matthews fan. I was like, yes, honey.
Yeah.
This movie's from like 97.
It's
like, it was blown up. Yeah. He was like on a college tour when this album came out. Or when this movie came out.
So we get the second call, setting up the second attack with Sarah Michelle Gellar, and I wrote, she is dumb. Like, she sticks around in that house way too long.
Yeah.
Like, just leave. So she gets it. And,
she deserved it.
And I wrote down, there are obviously two people in the house again. We see one sneaking in the living room while the other is on the phone.
Dude, that was a brutal death.
That's what I wrote down.
You were getting to that? I mean, she was, what was it? She was thrown through the window, stabbed, and then thrown off the balcony. Like, and Claire was, since that was a Dave Matthews scene, she was still paying attention. She was like, oh my God, that was so brutal. It's like, yeah, that's how they do it in the sequels. Like, that's how, was it Randy described it? You know, the deaths have to be more, like, extreme. You know, you can't just be stabbing people, which I like the fact that they did that. They did make it more, like, unique and interesting murders, which that sounds fucked up for me to say, but it's not just a straight stab scene. It's like, they got creative. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I wrote the kill was brutal, stabbed her twice in the back, and then threw her from, like, essentially the top of the house. I mean, because it was like that third-story balcony, and there wasn't much more roof above them, so it was basically, 3 stories. And then Sydney is at another party, or she's at the party, and she finds out about the murder at the sorority house. And then she gets brought into the police station. And I wrote down, if I was Sydney, I would just leave the country.
Yeah. What is she? And she's probably like, at a university, I would imagine like 30 miles away from Woodsboro. You know, like all this takes place in my, like, I would think like Northern California, just by judging from their houses in the first movie. It's like a beautiful area of like Northern California. Go to fucking Washington State or go across the country to New York. You know, like, you probably got residuals from the movie. Like, why stay in the town where your whole family and friends were murdered?
Again, I'm not leaving the station. I'm staying in the police station until somebody gets caught. Because later in the movie, we show even her dumb fucking detectives that are her security detail. They get owned, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, another brutal encounter. So
Sydney gets her first call at the party house, and there's another attempt on Sydney. Where Ghostface tries to get her. The boyfriend shows up. Dewey shows up. The killer gets away. And Sydney is starting to put pieces together. She's, like she did in the first movie, she's asking questions of, where were you, or why did you go back in the house, and yada, yada, yada. So she's starting to put pieces together about, in that doubt again, from Billy in the first movie. I'm surprised she's even with somebody. Yeah, like, take a little break of maybe getting with the guy, especially in a new place. But hey, the heart wants what the heart wants. So, and then we get a scene of Dewey and Gale start making connections to the original killings. And then we get a pretty cool scene of Randy and Dewey talking about theories of possible killers. Oh, yeah, and the Baskin Robbins. On there. Man, Randy knows his shit. That's what I liked about his character, like explaining all this as like a horror movie fan. He just like breaks it down more for you. So I really liked Randy coming up. It's going to get a little dark. Yeah, he's going to take a bad turn there. And yeah, so then we get a scene of Sydney in the theater, and she's talking to her professor, and the dude's an asshole. He's like trying to convince Sydney to stay in this play despite like everything that's going on. Despite bodies dropping like flies that are all this happening again. That are like kind of surrounded and kind of brought on by her. Yeah, if someone in a ghost face mask is killing people, it's connected to her. Did you find it? I wanted to ask you. Did you find it weird that she was a theater major, not like a criminal justice or like psychology major? Like, yeah, I would definitely gone like psychology or something to understand the mind of Billy. Criminal justice, like, yeah. But I was to say that kind of foreshadowed Scream 3, though. I haven't seen it. I know you need to watch it, man. But yeah, so they're doing rehearsal, and she has a freak out where, what's a fucked up play they're doing? Yeah, when they showed it to, I don't remember what it was called, but it's like she was
she was like, I don't know, like a goddess, and then they all turn on her, and
It was
everyone
it was a Greek mythology.
It was a Greek mythology play, yeah, because then they all put on these scary masks, and they're like running around and acting like they had these prop knives, and they're all stabbing her, but she like sees the ghost face.
Yeah, she's kind of hallucinating. Yeah,
so she's freaking out, and like the whole, it's like a what's it called, a test run.
Yeah,
so they got the whole production going, you know, like a storm going on, props falling down, and like. Yeah, I mean, everyone's masked and everyone's holding knives, so it's a fucking scary situation for her.
So she has a bad kind of run in, or she's kind of lets you into her mental state, kind of where she's at, and then we get the call with Randy, Gail, and Dewey, and this is the Randy death, which is brutal.
Yep.
And I wrote down Randy gets some good shit talking in before he dies. Like he's talking, he gets some
was
good
going
lines
off.
in.
You could tell he hit a nerve.
Yeah,
because then that
was
door
Billy's
opens.
mom. We didn't find out.
Yeah,
till
you find
later.
out later who really did it. I put R.I.P. Randy. Murder to Cypress Hill playing out like a G.
Yeah.
These three guys with like a boombox swipe by and they're doing 180 twirls and moonwalking as Randy's getting brutally murdered. It's like that's the most 90s fucking way to die in a movie right there.
Yeah, so I just don't know why he didn't stay in the middle of that courtyard.
Yeah, just stay centered and like surround yourself with people. He's wandering around talking shit.
Because Gail and Dewey, they're off like pulling cell phones off of people, like
he's really just like antagonizing them the whole time, like, talking shit.
Yeah.
But
I forget what he said. He's like, "Oh, Billy's like that dumb
he's
shit."
Like, you could do better than Billy, like, you know, and Billy's like a piece of shit mama's boy. Like, and then you realize, like, well, I don't want no spoilers yet. But you know why that hit a nerve.
He gets jerked into that van, and
I was like, how many fucking? She take like a bump of speed before she committed that murder.
Like
she was
some
hyped.
like TRT, some testosterone.
Yeah, like she was throwing him around,
jacked.
Like she was tossing on the van, shaking.
Yeah, and
shatters the glass.
And those three dudes, like, I don't care like what's going on. Like, I'm gonna notice a car rocking back and forth.
And the tapered glass, like all, look like it's shattered.
Spiderwebbed.
Yeah, they were feeling that Cypress Hill though.
Yeah, they were.
By chiefing in the courtyard.
So then we get a scene where Sydney's in the library and she gets a threatening message on the computer.
And they know like it has to be coming from the library.
From the library.
So her little security guard's like going straight lockdown, and Cotton shows up. He's got a proposal about like Barbara Walters. They can each make $10,000. Which I get his point. Like, she basically, her accusations, like, ruined his life. And he's like, look, I'm just trying to make some money. I'm trying to clear my name. Being a little aggressive about it. He didn't go about it the right way.
Yep.
And then he, like, caused a scene. And they're, like, basically arrested him right there.
Yeah, but I wrote that scene with Cotton. And then they take him to the police station. And that scene, they really did a good job of, like, putting doubt around him. Because I remember the first, like, I hadn't seen it in a long time. And I kind of remembered who it was.
Yeah.
But I thought it was Timothy Oliphant and Cotton. But then I remembered, and especially after this scene, I'm like, well, was it him? And then I remembered.
He has motive.
Yeah.
Because they're like, well, you know, are you still mad about the situation? And they do cast a lot of doubt on him, a lot of shade on him. But, you know, he's just like, what'd I do wrong? Getting loud in the library? Like, I'm just trying to clear my name. Right, so I actually remembered pretty quickly who it was, because I probably watched these movies all the time with my older sister growing up. Like, we were both Scream fans.
All right. Let's see.
Can we just rewind one thing?
Go ahead.
Question for you.
Go ahead.
It was at the beginning when they were in their class together, and they even mentioned how, like, mocked about making sequels, because this is a sequel.
Yep.
And they had that big debate. Did you? Because I thought maybe we could do a Mount Rushmore of that, but did you have any thoughts on best sequels?
Godfather 2.
Godfather 2, absolutely. That's what I said out loud.
That may be the only...
That's the greatest sequel of all time. Yeah. It's, in my opinion, better than the original. So...
outside of that...
I came up with like a quick 4 right in my head, right when they were doing all that, but it had to have been Godfather.
That's like the kind of unanimous. Like, that's the one that sticks out as the best ever. And I'd have to kind of do some research. But, yeah, I did the same thing.
Godfather 2.
And going back to that scene, Joshua Jackson sighting.
Yeah,
that was post.
He was in there for a minute.
That was post Mighty Ducks.
Oh yeah, because that was probably post the trilogy.
Yeah,
might have wrapped up the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that was post Mighty Ducks, pre Dawson's Creek.
Team Pacey. # Team Pacey. Anyway,
have you seen his wife too?
Beautiful. Smoke show.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah. Well,
Like a dark piece of chocolate. Got like a, what's it called? Was that a navel?
like a bull, like a
Yeah.
bull ring.
I saw her, I was like, dude, she was like, I mean, the picture I saw, she was very pregnant, but still very pretty. And I was like, man, good for Joshua Jackson.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen her. I will look it up though. Let's see. And then
Sorry for that.
No.
sidetrack,
You're
but yeah, I had to
good.
get back to the trilogies because I immediately came up with like my Mount Rushmore. Maybe we
You're
could do that.
So, Dewey and Gail are leaving the police station. Like, certainly, there's got to be something out there we're missing. They realize, well,
They got tape.
they've got tape, and so they're gonna go review it. And then we get a run in with Gail and the reporter, and I forget. I didn't get her name.
Roseanne's sister,
Aunt Jackie. She has another run in, and Gail is like, "Look,
always showing up.
she's always showing
What
up."
the hell?
And Gail's like, "Look, I don't give a shit about your little small town paper or your small town reporter. Like, I'm doing real reporter shit over here." So they're trying to find a VCR or somewhere to watch this tape, and I wrote down. They finally find one in like a auditorium style classroom, and they finally find one, and I wrote down, Dewey's about to get his donger wet, and the killer shows up.
Yeah, he had his hand on her titty too.
Yeah.
So close.
He was
buddy.
about to get it in. But yeah, so
Buzzkill Ghostface shows up, knife in hand.
So yeah, they're watching the
Fucking
film. They're watching the film, and then there's like a live feed of them, and that's how they kind of notice, and they look up. And what do you call that? The little theater, like the little box at the
Projection booth.
Yeah.
Room. It's like it's where the sends through.
Yeah, and so you see him, and so Dewey gives chase with no weapon, a limp, and one arm.
He just takes off. He's a fucking hero.
And I actually wrote down Dewey dies in a gnarly scene because I thought he died. I forgot that he
got stabbed 12 times in the back.
Yeah, and it was gnarly. It was through that soundproof glass.
Yeah,
and
he's
they're
trying to get her
and they're
attention.
face to face, and you just see him die. And then
And they play that music too. I really thought like that he was gonna die.
I wrote down Dewey death.
R.I.P.
And then
Dewey.
Dewey dies in a gnarly scene, and it was cool. And then we get that cat and mouse where he's trying to get to Gail, and he can't get there, and then we get the story of how one guy overtakes two cops.
Oh yeah.
So
that was pretty smooth though.
Sydney and her roommate are going to go into protective custody
Finally.
situation, and they are getting escorted by the two best detectives, as the chief put it, the two best detectives that he's got. Gets overtaken by one dude
Pretty easily.
pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And so Ghostface is in the car, and I don't remember how they end up crashing.
Sydney did something to like affect his driving.
Yeah,
and it steered him into like a construction site when like a pole went through.
Yeah,
one of the cops and like impaled him.
Yeah,
and the killer hit his head, knocked him out.
I wrote very Final Destination death for the last cop.
Yeah, like I said, they had really good, more creative, unique deaths,
and
not
then,
just straight stabs.
And then you get this super tense scene of Sid having to
that
climb
was pins and needles
over him, across him to get out of the driver's side.
You know, they're in a cop car, so the doors are locked. The driver's side, because she's able to get to the driver passenger, but it's pinned against the wall. And she's like, you're gonna have to crawl over him out a window.
Yeah.
And then she's about to take the mask off and reveal it. Horn goes off. I fucking jumped
Yeah,
like a little
jumped,
girl.
yeah.
I still jumped. And then she's out. She's like, okay, now you're gonna have to get out. Friend gets out. You think they're good. She's like, I'm gonna go back, see who it is.
Yep.
And she goes back. Body's gone. And then he fucking jumps out of nowhere and like stabs her friend right in front of her.
I wrote down Ghostface escaped the car without a peep.
Yeah.
And then kills Sid's
He's a
roommate.
fucking ninja. It had to be Oliphant.
And then they end up going back to campus and going into the theater, the stage.
Well, and what was her boyfriend's name? Wasn't Derek.
Didn't get that.
Well,
Jerry O'Connell.
Mr. Dreamy Pants. Yeah, you know, he got like basically kidnapped by the sorority because he gave away his letters to her. So you see him get kidnapped. Well, not kidnapped, like a friendly kidnapping in a good way. And they're like just boozing him. You know, all the sorority brothers and sisters are like feeding him alcohol. So they got him tied up to like this cross, like JC. And so when she goes to this final scene, like you're talking about, I'm pretty sure it's Derek. It's Derek. I wrote it down. Yeah.
Okay.
So Derek's there. He's like drunk.
Yeah,
he's tied up. Looks like he's beaten up. But Sydney has these problems with guys and believing them. So let's let you set it up.
Yeah. So we get the reveal that Mickey is the killer and tries to set up Derek.
Yeah, and he's playing them too. He's like, because they're both like, because what he was saying was, Derek, we did it. We got her. We pulled it off. And he's like, don't believe him, Sydney. Like, trust me. And it was a very smart move by Oliphant to put that seeded out because he knows she's been portrayed before.
I was like,
dude, that was fucking cold-blooded, but smart of him to do. Because the first thing he does is once he convinces her, he just puts a bullet in his chest and it's over.
And then
damn, that sucked.
I wrote, no, Timothy Oliphant, no. And then he shoots Derek. And then we again get great acting at the climax from Timothy Oliphant.
Oh, he goes full Pacino again.
So when he
just like Matthew Lillard, I put on there another full Pacino scene. I love it,
and he's great. I mean, I love Timothy Oliphant from all his roles.
He just looks like such a psycho in those early movies. He had that hair pulled back, and he had like devil eyes. Yeah. He could play a good psycho.
Yeah, and then he could play a great badass like in Justified. Yeah. Like he is awesome in Justified.
The Crazies, man, that's a good movie. I need to rewatch that with him.
And then we get the reveal that Billy's mom
Billy's mother.
Dude, and it was so
60
good.
60 pounds of 60-pound weight loss and plastic surgery.
Yeah. And that's what I kind of didn't get. I'm like, so you didn't recognize her, Sydney, when you had run-ins. Now, I mean, how much plastic surgery are we talking?
I mean,
total facial reconstruction.
Kris Jenner looks pretty different. Or what's his name?
You can't dead name. They'll cancel us.
Is that his name? Her name? What's his name? You know what I'm talking about?
Bruce Jenner.
Bruce Jenner. There it is. He looks pretty fucking different. So you never know. Lose 60 pounds. She had short hair. Maybe she had long hair before. Maybe she wore glasses. I don't know. It's Hollywood, man.
But yeah, so they kind of discuss how they hooked up. Like he was on some kind of
website,
psycho message board.
Oh, and his name's Mickey.
Yeah.
Mickey.
So yeah,
and his excuse was, "We're gonna blame it on the movies."
Yeah, that's my defense.
This is what drove me to do this, and it's like the perfect defense. He thought he would get off with like insanity or with the plea of the movies. And Billy's mom wasn't playing that, man. She fucking just after he played his part, she straight shot him. But I put on here my favorite part was Mickey and his dying breath because he gets shot and he's going back and he knows he's done, but he shoots Gale real quick. Just like, fuck you. He goes out with a single bullet, shoots Gale. I was like, dude, that was hilarious. I literally laughed out loud because like, that's a true psychopath. You're going out. You don't care. You're going to take whoever with you. So he shot in the chest, but he still gets a bullet off for Gale.
So, and then, as we've seen throughout all these movies, Sid does not go out like no bitch. Like
it's tough.
She
kicks the gun away and then runs away from the gun.
She said,
I made that note instead of grabbing.
And where she gets her break, and she goes, "Isn't Mickey supposed to be dead?" And then that's where she kind of gets her break and knocks the gun out of her hand, and the whole scramble and all that ensues. And then at the very end, Cotton Weary comes to the rescue. Sydney agrees to the Diane Sawyer interview. Cotton shoots and kills Billy's mom.
To commit murder was like, he was really contemplating, like, should I kill her right now? Oh, you'll go on Barbara Walters with me? Boom. Yep. Shoot the other woman right in the fucking eyes.
Yep.
Or he didn't get her in the eyes, but he got her in the chest.
He got her, yeah. And then she comes back.
She came back and put one in the eyes.
Yeah, Sydney came back.
Or between the eyes.
Yep. He double tapped. And then the last note I have is Dewey Lives, which I was genuinely shocked. Like, because I thought I wrote down.
He got stabbed multiple times.
I wrote down that I was like, Dewey dies.
It's like a fucking cat coming back.
And then I wrote down Dewey lives at the end in big bold letters or big all caps.
All caps, exclamation marks.
Yeah.
Last thing I wrote on here, ska music at the end is very 90s post grunge. It goes out with like a cover of a ska band cover song.
I was like, is this the Mighty Mighty Boston?
It probably was. Or Real Big Fish or something.
Yeah. So no, it was just, man, it was a really good, and I kind of liked how they kind of, it's not spoof, but they kind of acknowledged the fact that they were in a mood, like, I don't know, like kind of breaking that fourth wall and kind of acknowledge.
Again. He did it in the first movie, and he does it. He actually does it in the third movie. Randy makes a little Like he's like, if you're watching this, I'm dead type of video.
Oh, does
so
he?
Randy, I shouldn't say anymore, but I was so stoked when I saw Randy in the third one for a fleeting moment.
I'm gonna watch it here pretty soon. But yeah, I thought it was kind of cool how they it was a movie within a movie, and they kind of acknowledged, that fact.
And the fact that there was like a movie about the first movie being made in the second movie,
Yes.
Stab. So they're portraying it, and that's a huge part. And the third one actually is the Stab trilogy.
So, and then they had another actress, Tori Spelling.
Yeah, to play. She was portraying one of the characters.
And Luke Wilson was playing Billy.
Yeah, I put on there too, Luke Wilson as Billy, because he was like, I don't know.
They played that. They played those scenes, or they recorded those scenes word for word, like in Stab from Scream, like the one where they're in high school and they have that little interaction. But great cast. It was a good sequel.
All of them really had good cast. Even the fourth one. Fourth one was made from like 2011, so it was like the more modern one that had a good cast of actors you would recognize today too.
Yeah, so it was good.
Wes Craven, Master of Horror. I believe that's his title.
Yep, it was good. So let's move on to 60 Seconds on Big Brother, and it's the final one.
It was finale night. It's over, man.
Yeah, and let's make it a good one. Let's go out with a bang.
Well, when they do the finale, there's always 3 contestants left. And they'll do a 3-part HOH to see who's going to be the final head of household. So all 3 compete in round 1. The winner of round 1 advances to round 3, and the 2 losers face off in round 2 to see who meets the person in round 3. So Nicole won the first one; she automatically advanced to round 3. Enzo and Cody went head to head. I think it was an endurance comp, but Cody just smoked him. He was the best player all year long. So it went now Cody versus Nicole in the final HOH to determine the final HOH. It was like a more intellectual one, about almost like a quiz about the year, like on what day or what happened in this situation. And you got to think back. They've been in there 90 days, and they had to think back or come up with whatever situation it was. And I think they asked 8 questions. Cody didn't get any of them wrong. Nicole got one wrong early, and that was her only stumble. But so Cody won the last HOH, and that's the most important one, obviously, because now it's down to 2 people. And you pick who you want to take with you to the end. The other one's just going home, third place, because you got the 1 vote. He picked, and I should say, Cody had a final 2 with both of them. They didn't know that. They thought they were like his ride or die all along. But from day 1, he was with Enzo because they're both from New Jersey and they've had that tight bond all along. They're both like, just very similar in that way. So he made the speech. Like, Nicole was so pissed when he told her like that, like, this is my guy. I got to stick with him from day 1. I've been with him, so I vote to evict you, Nicole. I'm taking Enzo. She was livid, dude, the rest of the night because that was live. So Nicole came right out. She was just body, like when they were doing the cast balloting or whatever to see who they would pick to win. She was just like, everyone was to her right, and she was just turned to the left, arms crossed, like, that thing you'll do when your legs are crossed and you're just swinging one, and she just wouldn't even look at him, and she was just being a bitch the whole time. Yeah, very salty, and she just couldn't believe that Cody wouldn't take her, and I was so thrilled because I did not like Nicole at all. So he picks Enzo. He picks Enzo. Fuck you, Nicole. She was so shocked that Cody evicted her. That was the best move that Cody could have made because Nicole's actually won this before. So when you get to the jury and it's just these 2, so it's Enzo and Cody, and now they have like a screen come up with jury members, all 9 of them. Earlier I've said 11, but there's actually just 9 people to decide, and they cast their votes. So now say it's me and you, right? We're going to plead to the people like, this is what I did, this is why I deserve, and they're going to ask you very specific questions. And for him to take Enzo is smart because Enzo's won like 3 competitions all summer, but Cody's won like 9. So it wasn't even close. Everyone liked Cody. He had a great social game, and he went on these competitions. If he had taken Nicole, on the other hand, I think it would have been closer because to be a previous winner and to make it that far tells you how good you are in a way because you'd have a target on your back from day 1. And I think a lot of people would have respected that and maybe actually given her votes. So the fact that he cut Nicole was the best thing he could have done. And so it came down to the vote. They all go up and they put a key in a box and it has the name of their winner, who they think should win. They put it, you kind of cover it up. So you put it in there, you'll make a little speech and then they review it. And it's the first 1 to 5 because it's only 9 votes. So it's first to 5 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They all come out for Cody. he swept it. They took out the rest later. All 9 votes went to Cody. He swept it. It's only the second time in Big Brother history that someone's won unanimously like that. But he honestly deserved it. Like, I talked to my parents about it. Me and Claire agreed. Like, people that we know watched it said he was the best player all year. It would have been stupid for him not to win. It would have been just... It would have made this terrible season even worse if he hadn't won. But, so he won 9-0. Cool for Enzo because he kept, he keeps talking about how he did it for his 2 kids. Second place gets $50,000. He got that. First place actually gets $500,000. So good for Cody. And then they always have a fan favorite you could vote on to get $25,000. And Davon won, which was a little surprising to me. I had nothing against Davon, but I would have thought it would have been like Janelle or Tyler. But Davon won, and I was cool with that. The 3 finalists I think were Tyler, Davon, and some other fucking loser, I don't know, but they said Davon actually had over 1 million votes, so she got the fan favorite. She got $25,000, and that wrapped up finale night. And they're like, join us again next summer because it's every summer they do this. And since
I'm looking forward to it.
Since it's wrapped, we started watching what's I'm thinking of, Amazing Race. Me and Claire both love that show.
Yeah.
So that's kind of replaced our weekly show. Now we watch Amazing Race, and we're both into that. So get ready for 60 seconds on Amazing Race.
Sweet. All right, so let's get into some sports. And like we said, we were supposed to record a couple different times this week. And, Sunday we got too full and too old.
Dude, I got too old, man. I was tired.
And then Wednesday I had some daddy duty pop up that I needed to take care of. So some of the sports stuff we have is kind of irrelevant. But since we last recorded, the Dodgers won the World Series. Thanks to Tampa Bay and Kevin Cash pulling Blake Snell when he was
guy's
dealing.
pitching the game of his life. You know what I'm going to do? Pull him out of the game.
Yeah.
What were the 1 through 3 hitters? Like 0 for 9 or 0 for 6
0 for
with
6, yeah.
6 strikeouts or something like that against arguably, the best lineup.
I think he had a 2-hitter. He was carrying like a 2-hitter.
2 singles.
Yeah, so that was dumb.
All of baseball agrees with us.
The Stars revealed a new alternate jersey, which is gnarly to me. I love it.
I liked it. We've talked about it before.
I love it when they take chances.
Just give me something different. So
I
wasn't upset at all with them or Mavericks.
Which leads me into the Mavericks. They revealed their City Edition. I'll edit that out. They revealed their 2020 City, or I guess 2020-2021 City Edition, which is like white and it's got like gold. Have you seen it?
Yeah. I think Alex sent me one where it was like their model and then a fan model, and I like the fan.
The fan model was way
a
better.
Different text. I don't get the gold. Apparently, they're just gonna rock that, but the new court logo, the color, the blue and
they're bringing back like the old 10-gallon hat.
The 10-gallon hat with the blue and green is by far my favorite. So.
Yeah. Let's see. And then there's been 2 Cowboy games. There's been
2 losses.
Well, that's fine.
What is that? 4 field goals total?
Yeah. We've traveled to the northeast to score 9 points. So there's that. So the Cowboys lose to Washington 25-3. There's that Andy Dalton hit.
Apparently that was a clean hit though.
Yeah. Only got fined $12,000, no suspension.
12 grand to a millionaire's nothing, dude.
Next time the NFL tells you that they care about player safety, all you need is this example right here. So yeah, Andy Dalton died, and then last Sunday night, we went up to Philly and laid a turd with Ben DiNucci, and that was some of the worst football.
Ben,
no, it's not on Ben.
And they try to blame it on him and say he's not progressing or he's not going to be the starter this week. Can't throw a rookie out there with a shit line.
Well, what's crazy is like start of the fourth quarter or maybe in the end of the game is you had Ben DiNucci on one side with his stats and on my blanking Philly quarterback Wentz on the other side, and you couldn't tell me who was the 7th round pick and who was the rookie. Fuck it, we're doing it live. We just got interrupted, as I'm sure you heard.
Very unprofessional by this girl.
Claire and her sister are enjoying some adult beverages and getting loud in the kitchen, right off the recording room.
Literally like five feet from us. So they thought they were being quiet enough, but it was.
Hey man, when the mics are hot, you don't know what's gonna happen. But yeah, I was saying. Going back to DiNucci, I mean, it really wasn't on him. I don't know what you expect with the line the way it is.
I'm just happy you came out alive. That was my expectation was don't get shut out and don't let DiNucci
and don't
get
die.
knocked the fuck out. Yeah. So that's a good.
But yeah, I mean, there was that graphic showing the stats, and you wouldn't be able to tell who was the 7th round rookie and the 2nd overall pick.
Who signed a $100+ million contract?
Because they had the exact same stats. Yeah. So it wasn't on DiNucci.
Very close.
But I don't understand why, and we're skipping ahead. I don't understand why you're not giving him another shot.
DiNucci?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what did he just look that bad? I mean, I know he looked bad. I don't understand why.
He looked bad, but I mean, it's not his fault. And you got to remember, not to compare the two exactly, but Romo had, 3-4 years of watching and studying before he was thrown in. Ben DiNucci last year was playing for fucking James Madison.
And there was no offseason.
No offseason. Yeah. He was just thrown in there. No Tyron Smith, no Zach Martin,
no
Lyle Collins. I mean, we're talking Pro Bowl, future Hall of Famers, not there. So they just threw him to the Lions.
We ended up losing. What was the final score of that? 30 or 20?
25-9. Because they had some weird plays like they went
25-3 was
Washington.
And it was like 27.
Was it 23-9?
It was like 27-9, something like that.
I remember they had weird numbers because they kept going for 2, and then like that one situation where we purposely took a safety.
Yeah.
And then try to catch him off guard with that sky-high punt.
That punt,
which
I liked it.
Which I put on there. Yeah, I like that they did that because it shows that they're trying something different, that they're actually reading the rules. It's like what something like Mike Vrabel or Belichick would do. It's
when he
Belichick.
Exploit
it. Yeah, exploit that one little rule. So when I saw that, I couldn't have been mad at it, and I tried to explain it to Paul because my buddy just turned it off at that point. And he's like, "How'd they end up with that weird score?" It's like, well, they went for 2, got it, didn't get it, but then they got a safety, but we let them have it. And he's, it was like, I had to explain it. I was like, it's actually encouraging to see that they're doing these things and actually still trying. And I don't know, just being smart. But I put on here, we haven't covered the spread in any game this year.
Nope.
0-7 against the spread. We've allowed 97 points off of turnovers, which obviously leads the league. And we've trailed by at least 14 points in 7 straight games, which is tied for the longest streak in team history.
Yep.
So just to add to the misery, there's some shitty stats for you.
So we've got the undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers coming to town this week.
Brutal. I can give you my quick preview if you want.
Go ahead.
We'll see what you wrote, but I just put on here, first off, we will lose. Best case scenario is we're able to cover the spread, which is 14.5 points.
No,
favored.
we're not covering.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Best case scenario, we can cover the spread. Our O line looks better and allows Gilbert, because it's going to be Garrett Gilbert this week.
Which is he was not even in the league. Not even in the league.
No, he was playing for the American,
and that was 2 years ago.
Alliance of Football or whatever it's called.
That was last year.
What the fuck? There's a cat in here now.
Yeah. So this episode's off the rails. So we let the cat in.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
The cat's going wild. He's pawing at the wall. But anyway, yeah, I can't believe they're going with Garrett Gilbert over.
I would have thought Cooper Rush because he's familiar with the offense.
Yeah, I
would
did too.
Give him the slight advantage, but nope. I guess they feel
confident.
I forgot the reasoning I heard. But for whatever reason, they want to go with Gilbert. So the O-line works better to allow Gilbert or whoever move more time for the play to develop and holes to open for Zeke. My worst case scenario is, again, we get embarrassed on national television and lose by 30+. Our O-line allows 5 sacks and gets all the quarterbacks on the roster shook. And the quarterback and running back combined for 4 turnovers. My final prediction, Steelers 38, Cowboys. We get a touchdown and a field goal. 38-10.
I had 35-6. I don't think we scored a touchdown.
I was going to say, is it 2 field goals or is it a Zerline missed extra point? Because it could go either way.
You really, no, it's 35-6 with two field goals.
And I would just think the field goals probably don't come until like the second half. You know,
no, it's going to be bad.
Pittsburgh's putting in like what we would consider, like their practice squad basically. Like
TJ Watt is going to eat this week.
Yeah, he's going to slap his dick all over our foreheads for taking tacos.
He's going to hang dong.
Stupid. Still can't believe we did that.
But I think Jerry may be fully embracing Team Tank because for the first time this year, Zeke showed up on the injury report with a hamstring today.
It was and was it Alden Smith?
Alden Smith as well.
That's what I'm thinking because we had to re-sign a punter, but it wasn't Chris Jones. He's obviously out. But yeah, it was Alden Smith. But I heard today because they did the interview on the Fan, and both are cleared to play. But if you want to start Pollard, or
I think he's going to come up with a limp on Sunday.
Yeah, right.
But
Pollard's explosive. I mean, why not get the guy?
I watched a 14-minute video on Skip Bayless saying that throwing out the notion of maybe this is Jerry's plan all along is to suck and get Trevor Lawrence.
Tank for Trevor.
Tank for Trevor.
I'm down. Would you
but
tank
we're
for
still,
Justin?
Yeah.
Really?
I think he's NFL ready. I think he fits the mold of where quarterbacks are going today in the NFL. I think it saves you $40 million, and you could invest all that money in the defense.
And I love Dak, don't get me wrong, but I also agree with the notion that if you couldn't win with Dak when he was costing you $1 million, how are you going to win? How are you going to build a team when he's making 40?
Yep, exactly.
It really handicaps that cap space.
I love Dak Prescott.
I loved it. Yeah, me and you were huge. I've always been. I've defended him against Paul for years, and he finally turned around until he got hurt. But I was like, he's a great quarterback. He could be he's a great leader, dude. That's what I love about him.
I think people have they have very short memories. I don't think people, we've talked about it before, I don't think people realize or remember the gap from Aikman to Romo, the Quincy Carters, Anthony Carter, Anthony Wright, Clint Sterner, Ryan Leaf, Vinny Testaverde, Chad Hutchinson, Stephen McGee. I'm missing some. Tony Banks was in there.
We had 13 of them.
I think people don't remember that. And when you get a guy like Romo and you get a guy like Dak, you hold on to
as long as you can.
As long as you can.
But I just wish we had locked up. Obviously, injury aside, I wanted to lock up Dak like 2 years ago when the going rate was more like 32.
28.
Well, yeah. But now when it got to 28, 32, 35, 40, now there might be even more. And I get the point where you make the argument that our defense is historically bad, but I am also in the position that quarterback is the most important position. Mm-hmm. And if you have an opportunity to draft a guy that a year or two from now could be a top 10 and then potentially top 5, top 3 quarterback, you take him.
I'm the same way.
Take him, save $40 million. I mean, we tried to do so much for Dak to get him to stay here, and he's made the decision that he didn't want to sign that contract, and I really would hate to see him go. But if it meant ushering in Trevor Lawrence, I could get over. I could to accept that.
We're still 2 games behind the Jets.
That's the thing, man. We're still in playoff contention with this division. Yeah. We're talking about getting the first overall pick or winning our division.
But they're not. Stupid. They're not, because Philly's gonna. I
like Washington too, man. I really think Washington has built something special, and that could potentially be like running this division.
Yeah. So
in a few years.
I think if Fields or Lawrence are an option, I think you do it, and you save the $40 million and you retool the defense.
Retool through, but if you had, you say you took Fields, or obviously Lawrence would be the dream, and then you still had X amount of number of picks, make almost all of them defense.
I think we're gonna have like 11. We've got 10 currently, and it also depends on comp picks that come back.
Well, the comp picks we'll get are the ones for Robert Quinn.
Yeah.
Malik Collins, which the big one's going to be
Quinn.
He's going to get you at least a third. Well, I think the third's the highest you can go.
And Cobb.
Yeah, Cobb. Because it goes based on performance, or does it go by contract they signed? I can't remember.
I think it's both. I think it's a combination of both.
Well, then those 2 alone should get us at least a 3 and a 4, and then.
So, we're gonna have 10. We've got 10 right now. So, draft a quarterback if it's there, and then the remaining 9 you've got to go, and maybe you pull the trigger on a tackle, or but if we don't get there, I think we draft third, fourth. You draft Micah Parsons.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. If you can't get one of those top 2 quarterbacks, it has to go defense, or unless there's like a generational tackle there, then so if there's not the quarterback we want, or not the and it can't just be the best tackle prospect, it has to be this guy's the next Tyron Smith, or this guy's the next whatever Quentin Nelson. But I know he's a guard, but it has to be a can't miss prospect.
I don't think they're the O-line I don't think that's there this year.
Well, then Micah Parsons all day.
Yeah.
If you can't get Lawrence, I would honestly, if I had the number 2 pick, I almost would be tempted to trade down to get more assets, to get Parsons and then get picks down the line or down the road. But if we have the number one pick, to me it's a no-brainer. You got to take Lawrence. And I know it's crazy because we had this quarterback that we love, but he's injured. Don't know if he's going to come back the same. And $40 million is a lot of money, and that's the starting point. You know, it could be more.
Yeah, and it's just crazy to me to think that we would have the number one pick.
Oh yeah, because I listened to
That's
episode
never
1
happened.
or episode 2, and we're going to go 10-6, 11-5, and now it's if we get the number one pick.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like in my life, I mean, yeah, we had it in '89. You know, we had it. You know, in the Aikman draft, and look how that turned out. But as long as I've been consciously following football, like closely and understanding and kind of analyzing it like we do, we've never been close to number one. Four. We've been 4, and that was what 4-12 year. But
because even those
that would be
Tampa
nuts,
Chan
man.
Gailey years,
Those are 5-11.
5-11, yeah. So you weren't
you're drafting
terrible enough.
You're drafting 6 to 8 somewhere.
6 to 8,
in there.
yeah. You're getting top 10, but you're not getting that game-changing talent.
Yeah. So yeah. So we got the Steelers coming to town, and then we get a
more
bye.
draft talk coming up as the season progresses.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
And we could do like a mid-season report where talk around the league, like who you think MVP and all that shit is, or who's your prediction now that we're at the halfway point for the year. So maybe next week we can talk about that.
For sure. So with that, let's go on to what are we watching and what are we listening to. I have been watching, I texted you about it, Joe Rogan had on Alex Jones and Tim Dillon. Mm-hmm. I watched the episode twice. It was the most entertaining. It was more entertaining than anything Hollywood's putting out. It was just stop down. Like as soon as I saw it, I watched it and I was glued to it. It was just pure entertainment. And then, let's see, I don't know what's happening to me, man. Started watching on the recommendation of a podcast that I listened to. I started watching this show called Married at First Sight.
With Lauren or just you?
Just me.
Okay.
I tried to introduce Lauren.
She's like, this sucks.
She was like, nah.
I'm going to get a beer.
Yeah, she's like, nah, I don't get it. She's like, it's not that good. I'm like, well fuck you.
You got to know their character, what they're about.
So yeah, so it's, as the title indicates, it's 2 people and they have experts. They have like a sex and intimacy expert. They have like a spiritual expert. They have like a sociological expert, and they find matches and they match people up, and they do not know anything or even see or talk to anybody until they are face to face on the aisle. And it's just interesting to see this dynamic and see, some people make it, some people don't.
I'm surprised some people make it.
So it's a real marriage, and they go on a honeymoon, and then they move in with each other, and it's an 8-week experiment. And at the end of 8 weeks, they decide, hey, do you want to stay married or do you want to get a divorce?
Imagine getting her pregnant on your little honeymoon.
Right.
Well, I guess see where this goes.
Right, but so I watched season 9. I started with season 9 because that's the one.
I started with 1. I'm on 9.
No, that's where the dude on the podcast told us to start because it was available on Netflix. And so 4 couples. They choose 4 couples. So 2 of them stayed married at the end. 2 of them divorced. And I was
50 is about the American rate.
Yeah, and I was curious, and that was shot in like 2018, I think. And I looked it up after the finale, and they're still together 2 years later. And one of them's got a kid, or expecting a kid. So it's just super interesting to see like how off or how on these experts like can match people up. And I don't know. And there's drama. I don't know. I don't know what's happening to me. I can't explain it.
It's the 30s, man. You're in a weird time.
It's a weird spot. Like, this is maybe more awkward than puberty.
Oh, wow. That's saying a lot.
Yeah. Like,
at least you have, like, Lauren to help you through these.
Like, what am I doing? Like, I'm watching 90 Day...
midlife crisis
90 Day...
at 35.
It's a TV midlife crisis.
It really would be more of a midlife because, 70 would be a good year. They say, when he's 50, he had a midlife crisis. How many fucking guys live to be 100?
No.
It's more like 35 to 39 is like a good midlife crisis. So,
which is scary to think.
I know, right? That's what I'm saying. More realistically, that's a midlife crisis. So,
but no, I did 90 Day Fiance for Lauren because she is into that show. And I was like, this is a way for us to kind of spend time together. And instead of me sitting on the computer or doing whatever.
That's a good compromise. That's what you look for on these shows.
Yeah, and it's pretty good. And it's drama, and drama's good when it's not your drama.
Yeah.
So,
people love to watch drama. That's why you look at car wrecks when you pass by.
And man, there was
not my car wreck, but let's see the damage.
Dude, there on this Married at First Sight, there was one couple, and this chick either needed to be hospitalized, medicated, or both, because she was just psychotic.
And they got married.
Yeah, and they stayed married,
Wow.
and they're still together.
Wow.
So they worked out their shit, and at one point he called her a cunt, and I told her to shut up in front of a bunch of people, and then she kicked a coffee table over. I don't know.
They probably had great sex that night.
And see, it's really interesting. So two of the couples, they had sex pretty much right away, on the honeymoon, and then the other two didn't, and they waited. And one was a virgin. She's 27 years old. Was a virgin. So that couple ended up not staying together. They ended up getting a divorce because that was just something that the guy couldn't overcome. He's like, I don't want that responsibility.
For being her first.
That, and even when he tried to not have sex with her, but even bring up the topic, she was super immature about it.
At 27?
At 27. Yeah. So he's like, the emotional maturity is not even there. I don't care that you're a virgin, whatever. And then the other couple that didn't end up having sex till later, they made it. But and then a couple that ended up having sex early on, they didn't make it. And then the other one that ended up having sex really early on, they made it. So it was kind of interesting, kind of that dynamic. But anyway, I'm regressing into a 40-year-old woman, but and I'm not really listening to anything besides kids' trap music.
You're really into that, huh?
Well, it's just something I've caught on.
It is pretty good.
The last couple days. What about you?
For me, because like you said, when we were going to record this was the day after Halloween, so I listed every scary movie I watched this Spooktober. It was quite a bit. There's one I can't remember. But anyways, I watched Fright Night, the original and the remake. So it was 86 and 2011 they remade it. I watched the Korean zombie movie #Alive, which took place it just almost it entirely took place in this apartment complex where they're just stranded and shit goes down, and just it's about surviving, I watched another one on Hulu called Little Monsters, which was an Australian zombie movie. I watched Scream 1, 2, 3, and 4, and Dr. Sleep. And then there was another one on Netflix. It was called Vampires versus the Bronx, which was PG-13, but it was good. It was a good I guess more of a kid movie, but I watched it and I liked it. So I'll just say my top 3 that I would recommend from those for next Spooktober would be Scream, the original Fright Night, because I really like that movie, and Dr. Sleep. And Dr. Sleep's the sequel to The Shining.
Yeah, yeah.
And I had been really wanting to see that for a while. And
did that have Ewan McGregor in it?
Yeah, yeah, he's Danny.
Oh yeah.
And apparently now at Redbox, if you go there, instead of renting, they'll give you the option to buy them. And I found that out, and I bought 7 movies. So that was one of them. So I actually owned it, and I told my mom, because she reads a lot of Stephen King, I would let her borrow it. I'd rewatch it with Claire. It was a little long. It was 2.5 hours, but it got good reviews. I love Ewan McGregor. The lady who plays the main villain, Rose, was a total smoke show. She might make my Mount Rushmore when we do our celebrity crushes.
Speaking of Ewan McGregor, that Kenobi movie, that's close, right?
Yeah, I've heard it was.
Yeah,
which would make fans around the world just.
I would. Yeah,
it should be released, or it should be good news on January 1st, 2021, just so we start off on a better note. Of 2020. Yeah. Just to give us something to hope for in the coming years, or the coming year. I actually listened to one you suggested, It Could Happen Here, which was a terrifying look into what could happen if America plunged into a second civil war.
It was good.
Talks about how we could get there, what it could be like, how to survive, and how to prevent it. I put on it was very well written, because the guy, he writes his intros, and it's puts you in that situation. So when he reads these intros, it's this dire situation that you would be thrust into if that situation were to come to fruition. Very well written and researched. He'd be in there, I found this article from, here, or I read this book that relates to it, and pretty sure he's from Texas.
Yeah, he is.
He mentions multiple times how he lived in Texas, but maybe he's not there anymore, but, and he traveled to Syria and Somalia, places where they had civil war, and he just talks about, it's not two sides divided on a field like what you picture. It's, it's just people in your hometown, and Homers with mounted machine guns acting as like armed mercenaries. It's very terrifying. And the scariest thing was that was written and recorded like last year. Like if you were gonna do an update,
it may have been it may have been late 2018, so it was like
too real right now.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, it was all worst case scenario situations, and he was talking about like how it could get there and what dominoes would have to fall. But it was still just interesting for me to listen to, even though it terrified me.
Yeah, it's very. Yeah, I'm glad you listened to it because it's very good.
Today,
I listened to it a while back.
And all the episodes were 30, 40 minutes until the finale, which was like an hour and 15. But I was able to bang out, like a few a day, and then like I said, I finished it up today.
Yeah, it was very good.
And then I've been listening to the new Strokes album. It's called The New Abnormal. Really fucking good. All their pretty much all their songs on all their CDs are really good. It's hard to find a bad Strokes album. I put on here my favorite songs are Bad Decisions and Eternal Summer. And it made me think of this hot take, which I would like to pose to Matt. Maybe come up with his list next time, or any listeners that want to put this out there. But I was just thinking how the Strokes are in my opinion, one of the best American bands of the 21st century. So it would have to be a band, obviously from America, that didn't put out their first full-length album till 2000 or beyond. And so I included the Strokes, and the other bands I could think of that were that modern were the Black Keys and Band of Horses. And so I would just pose it to anybody like Matt or anybody that wanted to listen for some listener feedback to just, what do you think? Or
maybe the Shins, but like the Shins,
do they go back to the...
I don't know if they go...
See, because like Modest Mouse was 97.
Yeah.
My Morning Jacket, 99. And then all these other bands I love, Mac DeMarco, Tame Impala, Alt J, Glass Animals. They're all from other
places.
Canada, Australia, or UK.
Yeah.
So it's specifically American bands. First full-length album was, 21st century, so 2000 and beyond.
Yeah.
And it had to be like multiple good albums. So it just made me think, like, because I was like, I
don't know, man.
Strokes, man. They've been solid for 19 years.
We talked about it a couple weeks ago, but Brand New's got a solid catalog.
Yeah.
Like, but technically, was your favorite weapon 99? It may have been 2000.
Yeah, you could easily, like, everything I thought of, I just would go on Spotify.
But it's like your favorite weapon, Deja Entendu, Daisy. I don't know how extensive your catalog needs to be, but
I would say at least 4 to 5.
Yeah. Yeah, you might be right.
So it's just something to think about during the week. Like if you're listening to this, maybe you'll immediately think of somebody and just send that shit in. Matt will read it. Matt will review all comments because I sadly don't.
Yeah, no.
I need to write down my info. I keep forgetting.
No, I'll definitely
send me a screenshot of something good though.
I definitely want more interaction. I love it when I get those little bits, those tweets or those emails.
Yeah, definitely.
It lets us know that we're reaching people and people are listening. And I guess since Paul reached out and told me he appreciated my little speech. I'll kind of just leave you with this. Take time this week to appreciate the people around you. I know for me, things get crazy and, you kind of take, like, I'll speak for myself. A lot of times I don't take my wife for granted, but I don't realize all she does for me. So, like this morning I woke up early, I made her a cup of coffee, I got Landry all ready for school. That way all she had to do was like wake up, drink her coffee, get ready, no stress, took him to school. And, like last night for dinner, like I cooked dinner, made her plate, brought it to her, she's like, why are you being so nice? I'm like, well, I appreciate you, and appreciate everything you do. So take time this week or, whenever you listen, and appreciate the people around you that mean the most to you. And I hope everybody has a good week. We appreciate everybody listening. If you could do us a favor, if you haven't already done it, go to iTunes or Apple Podcasts and leave us a rating and review. It really, really helps us out. If you have any questions or if you want to interact with us, reach out to us on Twitter or Instagram at thedadlabpod or thedadlabpod@gmail.com. And, we'll read any feedback you got. But you got anything else?
I'm good. I got dog and cat all over me.
All right. But so for Matt
and Andrew,
we're out.
And Eli and Hank right here.